Shamsi Tabrizi was a Sufi mystic who worked as a basket weaver, traveling from city to city, interacting with others, but according to legend finding no one with whom he could fully connect as a friend and equal. One day, a disembodied voice answered his prayers and asked him, "What do you give in exchange?" Shams replied, "My head," and the voice then replied, "The one you seek is Al-Aladdin of Konya Banks, 19. Shams then went to Konya where he met Rumi. There are several accounts of this encounter, but the most common is that of the encounter in the street and the question Shams posed to Rumi. According to this version, Rumi was riding his donkey in the marketplace when Shams grabbed the bridle and asked him who was greater, the Prophet Muhammad or the mystic Bayezid Bastami. Rumi immediately replied that Muhammad was the greatest. Shams replied, "If that is so, why did Muhammad say to God, 'I have not known you as I should'?" While Bastami said, "Glory be to me," affirming that he knew God so completely that God lived and shone within him. Rumi replied that Muhammad was even greater because he always yearned for a deeper relationship with God and recognized that, no matter how long he lived, he would never know God completely. While Bastami considered his mystical experience with the divine as a final truth, and went no further. After saying this, Rumi lost consciousness and fell from his donkey. Shams understood that this was the man he was meant to find. And when Rumi awoke, the two embraced and became inseparable friends. Rumi's grief at the loss of his friend found expression in the poetic form of a ghazal, which mourns the loss while celebrating the experience being mourned. Their relationship was so close that it strained the rapport Rumi had established with his students, family, and associates. Therefore, after a time, Shams left Konya for Damascus. However, Rumi brought him back, and the two resumed their old relationship, which took the form of mentor-mentee on one level, with Shams as the teacher, but more importantly, as intellectual equals and friends. They were talking one evening when Shams was called to the back door. He went out to answer it, did not return, and was never seen again. According to one tradition, he was murdered by one of Rumi's sons, who was tired of the mystic monopolizing his father's time and keeping Rumi away from his students. According to another tradition, Shams chose this moment to leave Rumi's life, perhaps for the same reasons. In any case, Rumi needed to find his friend and set out to find him. Rumi understood that there is no such thing as losing a loved one, for that person continues to live, speak, and act through oneself. The depth of a close personal relationship cannot be diminished by the absence of a loved one, for they have become a part of oneself. Rumi the theologian became Rumi, the mystic poet, after this realization and began to compose verses that he believed came from Shams.